Welcome to the Election Assistance Commission's how-to video on estimating the voting age population with disabilities. More than 35 million Americans with disabilities are eligible to vote in the United States. That's about 1 in 6 of all eligible voters and includes people with a broad range of disabilities. These voters are protected by a number of federal laws, including the Help America Vote Act, or HAVA, which established the right for voters with disabilities to mark, cast, and verify their ballots privately and independently, and Title II of the Americans with Disabilities Act, or ADA, which requires state and local governments to ensure people with disabilities have equal access to government services and information. This means election officials are responsible for providing equal access throughout the election process through things like creating physically accessible polling places and communicating voting information in an accessible way. To serve disabled voters well, election officials first need to understand how disability impacts their community. This starts with one basic question: how many eligible voters with disabilities live in your jurisdiction? This video will show you how to use census data to find the answer. Let's get started. Today we'll be using data from the U.S. Census Bureau's American Community Survey, or ACS, to find the voting age population with disabilities for a particular jurisdiction. There are several other sources available with similar data, including the Current Population Survey, sponsored jointly by the U.S. Census Bureau and the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics and the Center for Disease Control and Prevention's Behavioral Risk Factor Surveillance System. Keep in mind that each source uses different definitions and processes, so you can expect to see slightly different numbers. This example uses ACS data. ACS data is updated regularly. It is available to anyone with an internet connection, easy to access, and includes data for all jurisdictions. Remember, the goal is to get a general idea of how many eligible voters with disabilities live in your area. You can always combine data from the ACS with other local data if you want more context. Let's look up the numbers for a sample jurisdiction. You may want to follow along in a different browser window for the next section, or watch the demonstration all the way through first, then visit the site later. To begin, navigate to data.census.gov in a web browser. In the search bar that appears near the middle of the home page, enter the words Disability in, followed by the name of your jurisdiction and state. Then select the correct option from the drop-down menu that appears. For this example, I'm going to search for Jackson, Michigan. You'll see that options for both Jackson County and Jackson City appear in the drop-down menu. Michigan runs elections at the local level, so I'm going to click the Jackson City result. You'll want to pay close attention to what appears in the drop-down menu before making your selection, since many states have duplicate jurisdiction names. The overall disabled population in Jackson, Michigan now appears at the top of the page. This number includes people of all ages, so we'll need to narrow it down to show only those who are old enough to vote. Click the View This Result button underneath the overall number, and you'll be directed to a new screen showing a full table of data. Notice the first result in the left column, S-18-10, Disability Characteristics, is highlighted, and the related data appears on the right. This page defaults to showing disability characteristics from the most recent ACS, which in this case is from 2022. Once you see the information you need, you can hide that left column by clicking the arrow icon located at the top of the column. We want to focus on people with disabilities who are old enough to vote, so we can also close the sections for sex, race, and disability type by clicking the arrows next to each of these. You can also click the margin of error icon at the top to hide those numbers, since we don't need them right now. That leaves us with the number of people with a disability in Jackson City, Michigan. We have a total number and a percentage, and those same numbers broken down by age. Remember, these numbers are only estimates. They don't exclude non-citizens, and they don't include voters in nursing homes or other facilities, so they're not going to be exact. But they do provide us with some general information. For example, I can see that almost half of the voting age population over 75 has a disability. In addition, about 23% of eligible voters 10 years younger also fall into that category. What if we wanted to know the total percent of the voting age population with a disability? We would do a little bit of math. First, we would add up the number of people in the 18 and over category with a disability. That's the bottom 4 rows in the second column. In our example, these numbers add up to 4,322. So the total voting age population with a disability is 4,322. Next, we would add up the number of people in the 18 and over category for the total population. That's the bottom 4 rows in the first column. These numbers add up to 23,414. The total voting age population is 23,414. Then we would divide the first total, which was the total 18 and over disabled population, 4,322, by the second number, the total 18 and up population, which is 23,414. That would give us 0.1845 or 18.5%. So the voting age population with disabilities in Jackson City, Michigan is roughly 18.5%. We can round this number up to 19%. The national average for the U.S. as a whole is approximately 16%, and some jurisdictions have over 30%, depending on their demographics. Based on this data, we can say that Jackson City's population of voters with disabilities is a little higher than the national average. Now that you know how to estimate the number of eligible voters with disabilities in your jurisdiction, how might you use that information? Perhaps it will inform your decisions about resource allocation, help you make an argument for improving accessibility, or demonstrate the importance of accessibility to poll workers. The EAC Resource Library includes a number of guides and tools to give you ideas as well as materials to help you make voting more accessible. We also encourage you to connect with disability advocates in your area to learn more about your community's needs. As always, thank you for your work in elections, and thank you for watching.